Welcome back to the deep dive. Look, if you've ever tackled a vintage RC kit, you know the feeling, right? That mix of awesome nostalgia and, let's be honest, sometimes pure frustration when things just don't line up.
Oh, yeah. Lost screws, wobbly bits, it happens.
Exactly. So today we're diving into two things that might seem basic, but are, well, absolutely vital.
The A3 cutting mat and the RC work stand.
You got it. We want to show you how these aren't just nice to haves. They're really foundational tools that help you build better, cleaner, and just elevate your whole RC game.
It's interesting, isn't it, how these two items become like cornerstones. They let you move past just snapping parts together. It becomes more like mechanical therapy almost.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, so let's start with that, Matt. The A3 self-healing one. Most people think, yeah, it protects my desk. But it's more, isn't it? Especially for vintage stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Our sources actually call it an active corrective instrument, which sounds fancy, but it makes sense.
Active? How so?
Well, think about those old kits. The plastic can be brittle, parts might be warped, maybe not perfectly square, you know. This mat, with its grid and flat surface, it actively helps you compensate for those imperfections. It's not just sitting there.
Okay, so it's like a physical guide for parts that weren't maybe super precise to begin with.
Exactly. It kind of rescues the build sometimes.
And the size, A3, that's roughly 420 by 297 millimeters.
Yeah.
Why that specific size? Is it the Goldilocks zone?
Pretty much, yeah. For typical 110 scale models, it's big enough to hold your main chassis parts, your manual tools, but it's not so massive that it takes over your whole bench. It sort of encourages you to keep things organized.
Right, keeps the chaos contained a bit.
And you need patience with these old kits. A tidy space helps.
Okay, and self-healing. That sounds a bit like sci-fi. What's the deal?
Yeah, it does sound cool. It's not magic, though. It's material science. Think of the mat as being made of tiny, tightly packed particles, like a dense foam, but tougher. When your craft knife cuts, the blade actually slips between these particles.
Ah, okay.
Then, because the material is resilient, the particles just kind of squish back together behind the bleed.
So it doesn't leave a big scar like cardboard would, and it doesn't dull your blade instantly like glass might?
Exactly. It protects your blades, too. Keeps them sharper for longer.
And the grid printed on it, that's not just decoration.
No way. That grid is indispensable. It's your instant reference for squareness, for alignment. Absolutely vital when you're trying to true up a slightly wonky vintage chassis piece. Plus, perfect for putting straight lines, lining up details accurately. You can even quickly check if a chassis plate is flat just by laying it on the mat.
Okay, so the mat is our foundation. Now let's talk about elevating the build, literally, the RC workstand.
Right, another game changer. Its main job is, well, getting the car off the table.
Which immediately helps with ergonomics, right? Less hunching over.
Totally. Saves your back and neck. Plus, most good ones rotate, so you get that easy 360-degree access without constantly shifting the car.
And stability, that's huge.
Oh, yeah. It holds the car securely, so both your hands are free for tricky bits. And that wheels-free thing is key. You can spin the wheels, check the drivetrain, the suspension movement without the car rolling away on you.
Ah, yes. Testing things as you go without chasing it across the bench.
Precisely. And diagnosing issues is way easier.
And most have little trays built in for screws and bits.
Yeah, those little recess trays, sometimes with magnetic strips, absolute lifesavers for stopping tiny screws or E-clips from vanishing into the void.
We've all been there. So the rotating aluminum ones seem to be the top choice.
They are generally seen as the gold standard for serious builders. Durable, stable, smooth rotation.
But where does the stand really earn its keep? What's its killer app?
Honestly, building oil-filled shock absorbers, especially for vintage models where the shocks might be less sophisticated.
Right, getting those air bubbles out is always tricky.
Exactly. The stand is like your third hand.
Right.
It holds the shock bodies perfectly upright while you fill them. That lets all the tiny air bubbles naturally rise to the top. You can tap them, let them sit. Then you can carefully cycle the piston up and down to dislodge any trapped air. And finally, assemble the cap, all while it's held steady.
Okay, I see. It makes a fiddly, crucial process much more systematic and repeatable. Leads to better, more consistent suspension.
You got it. Consistent performance relies on perfectly built shocks.
Now, what about using them together? The mat and the stand.
Ah, the synergy. Yeah, putting the stand on the A3 mat is the way to go. It creates this perfect little work cell.
How so?
Well, the mat catches anything you drop screws, small parts. It stops the stand itself from sliding around on your workbench,
Huh.
and it adds another layer of protection to your main surface. It just makes the whole workflow smoother, more efficient.
Plus the combined ergonomic benefits. Less strain over long build sessions.
Definitely. Comfort equals better focus, which equals better results.
Okay, but these two tools aren't enough on their own. You need the right companions, right?
Yeah.
Especially screwdrivers.
Oh, absolutely crucial. If you're building Tamiya kits or many other Japanese brands, you need JIS screwdrivers.
That's Philip said. They look similar.
They look similar, but they're not the same. JIS, Japanese Industrial Standard, has a different crosspoint profile. It fits Japanese screw heads perfectly. Using a Phillips driver, especially on smaller screws, will almost certainly cam out and strip the head. It's infuriating.
Right. Invest in proper GIS drivers. What else?
Shock shaft pliers are a must. They grip the smooth shock shaft without scratching it when you're threading on the piston or rod end, and a decent set of digital calipers for precise measurements. You need accuracy.
Gotcha. So, bringing it all together for you listening,
Sure.
this isn't just about buying more gear. The A3 mat and the RC stand, they represent something more.
Yeah, it's about a mindset, a philosophy of craftsmanship. They are tools for precision, for organization, for comfort. They really allow you to move beyond just basic assembly and engage with the build as, well, an art form, really, helping you produce results you can be truly proud of.
So here's our final thought for you to chew on. Now that you understand how these fundamental tools can elevate your process, what specific aspect of your own building craft, your personal craftsmanship, are you going to focus on elevating next?